Hello, everybody. This is Rosie Flugel with McAllen ISD's Digital Learning Team. I'm so glad to be with you today. Today, I want to review how to create a quiz, a classic quiz specifically within Canvas. So here I'm showing I'm on the home page of a Canvas course, and using the menu here on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to Quizzes. And once at Quizzes, top right, you'll see the Add Quiz button. All right, then you'll get your Choose a Quiz Engine dialog box that pops up. And today we're specifically working with classic quizzes. So make sure you click on classic quizzes to get started and choose Submit. Once your new quiz has popped up on the page, you do want to start in the details section so you can set up all your quiz settings before you actually start working on your questions. So just title your quiz. There you go. And then in the edit box here, you want to add some just quiz instructions for your students, whatever they may be. And then this is a regular, by the way, this is just a regular rich content editor, so you can use the tools here to change the text. You have highlighting, color, of course, superscript. You can link items. You can bring in images. You can bring in multimedia and all this good stuff. If you have your Google Drive connected with your Canvas account, then you can certainly bring in Google Drive documents. You can insert tables, and there's your equation editor. So just your basic rich content editor will help you make your instructions look a little bit nicer, right? All right, down to the settings. For your daily check-in activities that you're going to be creating for McAllen ISD, we are definitely recommending practice quiz, so it's not graded. But your other options are to have an actual graded quiz, a graded survey, or an ungraded survey. Okay, today I'm going to go over practice quiz. Some options that you have are to shuffle answers. You can even set a time limit. You can allow multiple attempts if you need to. By default, they have let students see their quiz responses. You can uncheck it or leave it checked. It's up to you. And then you have some other options, like you can let students see the correct answers at a particular date and time. So you can use a calendar to select that if you need to. All right. If you have a longer quiz, or maybe questions that might help in another question that you might want to give them, maybe you want to show one question at a time. Or maybe you have students that get distracted easily with a lot of stuff on the page, so maybe one question at a time is easier for them. So you do have that option here. Now, some quiz restrictions, which unless you have some major issues with your students taking your quiz, some restrictions here are to require an access code or filter by IP addresses. Again, I don't think you need to use it unless you have some issues with your kids taking your quizzes, but I would just leave that unchecked. Okay. And then finally at the bottom, you can assign to particular students, or by default, it assigns it to everyone. But you can certainly go in here and add the student that you want to add. I don't have students in my course, but you would have a list of all your students. I have one sample student. So instead of everyone, I could send it to just one student if I wanted to, or if you have a test that is slightly different than what everyone else is getting, then you can send it to just those students. So that is possible. But in this case, I'm going to select everyone. You have to choose a due date. So I'm going to select, it's going to be due by the 28th. And then additionally, you can add a time window. So if I select a time window, I can click on the calendar icon, select a date, of course, and then a time. So you can either type in a time, or let's say I just change it from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. That'll work. That it'll open or be available for your students on that date and time, and then it will close at whatever time you selected. And I think 11:59 would work. So done. And that would be it for my settings for my quiz. Now onto the questions. So I'm just going to go back up and go right up to the question section right here. So I'm going to click on that. Alrighty. All right. So to start a new question, I'm going to select this new question button right here. Okay. Now we have a variety of questions. We have multiple choice, true, false. We have quite a bit here. The most popular is multiple choice, so I will go ahead and start with multiple choice, and I'm going to call this question number 1. And you do want to kind of keep track of what question you're on, so it helps your students a little bit. Now, when you're creating a daily check-in activity for McAllen ISD, remember it's not graded, so make sure you change the points to 0. But if this particular question was worth 25 points, you would put that in there, okay? You would insert your question here. Let's say, who's the president of the United States? Alrighty. Again, you have the same rich text editor that we saw earlier, so you can definitely add an image if you needed to bring in an image, bring in audio or video. You can even record. You could even record media right here while you're creating your quiz. So just know that you have this editor available to you. Okay, once you have your question in, you can type in your answers. So let's say it was, let's just come up with a few here. You'll notice also that there's these boxes under each possible answer. These are feedback boxes. So you can leave feedback for correct answers. You can leave feedback for incorrect answers. And then at the very bottom, you're going to see a box here that you can leave back feedback just in general. Thank you for answering this question, or thank you for giving your best, whatever general comments that you want to add. Okay, so let's see. Let's put a few more answer choices. So here are all our answer choices. Don't forget that you do need to select the correct answer so that Canvas is able to automatically grade your quiz correctly, right? You can, if you look to the far right of each answer choice, you can go in and edit each answer choice. And again, you have your editor where each answer could have a picture, okay? Art teachers, that might be useful for you, right? Maybe social studies teachers, you can bring in your maps for each question. So yeah, don't forget that you can do that. Also, if you need to remove, maybe I just want 3 answer choices instead of 4, I can totally delete that answer choice by hitting the trash can over here on the far right. There we are, right there. Let me delete that. So now I only have 3 answer choices. Okay. Now, once you have your answer choices in, edited the way you want, just update that question, and that saves that question. And then you can go on to the next question. Okay, same process. Once you're done, I highly recommend actually to save and publish, especially if you have already set a time window that your quiz will be available. You won't have to worry about students trying to access your quiz early because it won't be available until that date and time. And this will save you some headache. It'll keep you from having to come back right before every quiz to make it, to go in and publish it so they can see it. It's ready to go if you publish it from the beginning. Okay. However, if you're not going to use a date and a time, like a time window here, you see down here, then you might want to keep it unpublished until it's ready to be taken by the students. Okay. You can even narrow the time window down to a certain period if you have to. Okay. All right. So before you actually, move on to your next task, I highly recommend that you preview your quiz to make sure it looks the way you want it to look. When you preview, you're going to see it the way the students are going to see it. So make sure your answer choices are visible the way you want them to be visible. You can even take the quiz and submit yourself so you can test it out. Always check the points, make sure those are correct. And if you see any errors that you need to go back and fix, you can go back to keep editing this quiz up here in the top right corner. And once you click on that, it'll take you back to editing mode. My biggest, I guess, recommendation or tip when you edit a question, over here on the top, I guess the far right of the question has your edit button, right? When you change anything in a question, please don't forget to update that question. Sometimes we just click save, but if you don't update the question, that question won't be changed. Okay? Alrighty. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your digital learning specialist, and we'll be happy to help you.